When you're transporting between the jail and the courthouse, that's when a lot of things happen because they wake you up at 5 o'clock in the morning and they put chains on you and they shackle you together with 4 other people. Then they take you out to this bus. They have cages for sections of 4 and they shut the cage and lock it. So there's a bunch of mini lockers inside of a great big bus. They put you inside of a cell in the courthouse. In every courthouse in America, they have jail cells right behind the court. It's my first day. I'm charged with 5 felonies. Each one carries 5 years in prison, so I'm looking at 25 years in prison. What happens to me is I go into court and I tell the judge, hey, I'm just gonna postpone my arraignment until I have counsel. He says, well, you just wanna make your plea? I say, I don't. And they said, well, you're gonna have to come back here again tomorrow. And I said, that's fine. Other people are going before the judge and the judge is saying, okay, that's 10 years in prison. That's what's happening. Other times people are saying, okay, you're gonna be released tomorrow. I'm back in that little dungeon. I haven't been chained together with 4 people yet. The cell is this big and they've got 25 people in the cell. There's only 2 benches and it's literally 10 feet by 10 feet. I'm sitting between 2 people. I was fortunate to get a bench. All of a sudden, I see over the top of me a shadow and I look up and there is a gigantic man. He happened to be black, but he's about 6'7". This huge man weighs about 300 pounds standing right over the top of me. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy wants my bench. So I go, oh, you want me to get up? Because this is a giant of a human being. And he looks at me and he goes, no, when the guard leaves, I'm gonna kill you. So I stand up and I'm backing away. And so then this great big guy starts going around the bench to get me. And so then I'm walking around the cell like this. And this is what's happening in this room. And he's slowly walking towards me, but there's so many people's bodies in there laying on the ground, sitting up, that I'm walking between people. And this great big huge giant of a man is following me. And he has the look in his eyes like he wants to kill me. And I'm like, dude, why do you want to do this? And he's just shaking his head at me like he's a total fucking psycho. And people are starting to get annoyed because I've made 3 or 4 laps now in this thing. I'm begging him, dude, why are you doing this? Please, I don't want to fight you. I don't even know you. And I hear this. And he starts to cough in this way that I have never seen ever in my life before, where slobber is flying out of his mouth and he's he can't get any air into his lungs. And now I've gone from a position where I'm running in a circle away from this man, begging him, why are you doing this? What did I do? I don't want to fight you. I don't even know you. It went from me running to now I'm over kneeling next to this man, pulling on his shoulder saying, dude, breathe, get your tongue out of your mouth. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And one of the guys in there goes, he's choking up. And I say, choking up? What do you mean he's choking up? Another guy goes, it's PCP. The guy's blah, 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 and slobber is just coming out of his mouth. I mean, it's to the point where I don't want to touch him because he's cascading this mucus all over his face. Then the guy explains to me he did a pixie stick. I have no idea what he's talking about. So what's a pixie stick? He says it's a PCP-laced cigarette that he smoked before he came in here. You see his eyes, he's on PCP. But it doesn't matter because he's still dying in front of me. And so now me and a bunch of other guys are screaming, guards, guards, he's dying, right? The guard walks down like they do, nice and leisurely. And then he goes, yeah, bring a gurney down here. And so then the guard comes down and this guard is as big as this guy was, but he's just white. So this guy was like 6.5 feet tall, 300 pounds. And this guard's like 6.5 feet tall, but he's white and he's like 300 pounds. And so they come in with the gurney. This is like the fastest I've ever seen them come for medical care. And that took still about a minute or 2. And when they get into the room, they roll the gurney in there and the guards grab this dude, kind of shuck him up on the gurney. The guard is now hitting him in the back. And he's hitting him in the back. And he's saying, breathe, breathe. And he's whacking this guy. And the guy, he's hitting him so hard. The other people in the room are like, oh, ooh, oh. He's hitting him in the back so hard that pretty soon the dude who was choking, he starts saying, okay. He's trying to get the guard to stop hitting him. And then the other guard says, let's take him. And he flips his feet over. They take the gurney and they roll him out. And they shut the door and they lock it. And for me, I'm completely and utterly bewildered. I have no idea what the hell just happened. Number one, why did this guy just stand over me and tell me he's gonna kill me when the guards leave? Because he's on PCP. They arrested him on drugs and they put him in a cell with just regular people who were not on drugs. And then number 2, why was he chasing me? And then number 3, he starts choking up and I now am his caretaker. Number 4, why did the guard beat him like that? I mean, he's taking the palm of his hand and just palm striking, just sticking it into this dude's back. And this happens on my first day transporting between Twin Towers Jail in LA and the courthouse. So then when they shut the door, after all that, the whole room of people, there's like 20 people in this tiny little cell, we're all just kind of shell-shocked. Why the hell did that just happen? Then when you come out of that tiny little room, they chain you together with 3 other people and stick you back on that bus. And then you go back into the jail. They immediately stick you on the wall, and they go through the whole process of making sure you didn't pick up a weapon along the way. And if you don't agree to that, then you will be strip searched. So you just let them do whatever they're going to do. So every time you say, you want someone to go to jail, you sure about that? You've been there before? I've got some poison pills that I've had to deal with in my lifetime. I'm torn sometimes when people do such horrifically bad things to me personally, professionally, to my family, to my friends. I still don't know if I want them to go to jail. I want to make them pay, but I don't know if I want them to go to jail. And if you haven't been to that jail and you haven't seen what the guards do to people in the jail, I'll give you this piece of advice and then I'll end this story. When you go to jail, you shut the front door. You don't say anything. You don't make any friends. You don't talk to anybody. You sit there, you get your milk, you get your packs of peanut butter, whatever you're going to eat, and you don't say anything to anybody. You read, you don't talk, you shut up, you don't say anything. I wonder if that guy would have killed me. If he got a hold of me, he was gigantic, like NBA big, and his eyes were totally glassed over. That's the pixie stick that he had smoked. Be careful what you wish for, because if you call the cops on somebody, if you call the cops to welfare check your kid, if you call the cops because your neighbor pissed you off, remember what you're possibly inviting into your life and into their life. When you call the cops, you could be killing somebody. You might be ruining someone. I don't have nightmares. I sleep like a frickin' baby. As soon as I lay down to go to sleep, doosh, I'm out like a light. I did for a long time after spending a week in Twin Towers, that they were taking me back there again. Lots of dreams like that. You dream that the cops were at the door and that they were trying to get you to come out, and they got the cuffs and that they're going to take you. Like, you got to come, you're going to jail, and you're in your house. And this is all a dream. And so you're going, no, I don't want to go to jail. And the cops like got the cuffs in his hands. Like, you got to come outside. You're going to jail. And you're like, I didn't do anything. I don't want to go back to jail. You wake up. Oh man, I woke up and just, you name it, cold sweat, hot sweat, no sweat, insomnia, can't go back to sleep. I've had all those dreams. So it's like that guy called the cops on his son who was schizophrenic. So the question is, do you want your son on earth anymore? If you want your son on earth, then you shouldn't call the cops. You may have to deal with some shit, and you might even get killed by your own son because he's schizo. I'm not making fun of schizophrenia. I have schizophrenia in my family. My uncle was schizophrenic, and I dealt with that. But just be careful when you decide you're going to call 911 or you want to put someone in jail. Just remember what that entails.